No pressure. What could go wrong? Welcome to my very first Facebook. Well, this is my first Facebook Live, actually. I've done like regular, but I don't think. Well, maybe I haven't done straight to the group.
How many you got on so far?
No, it should. Let's see. You guys are learning with us. One of the, we're gonna. I've never done it on my phone.
So you don't. Right now, you got. Okay, you got.
Hey, Jack. We're. I'm in Detroit. Just gonna make sure. So Jack, you're our trial. I'm in Detroit with a turnkey provider, and we're at one of the houses. Can you? I assume if you ask a question, can you say hi or something?
Yeah.
So I guess it'll just be.
Yeah, and you
we'll
got
be able to see people.
You got more people on now.
Who's on? Do I get to see who's on?
Yeah, you get to see who's on. Just click that button.
You guys, if you know me, you know I don't know technology.
So you just scroll down. That's.
Hey. Of our group.
Yeah, 6 people.
Hey. Oh, it does say who's getting on. If you guys know me at all, I should have brought my selfie stick.
Yeah.
Not to be that person. Jack's like, how much is the property? Let's buy. We haven't even shown you. Yeah, we're going to.
I'll turn it around and face.
So what we're gonna do, this is an awkward selfie view, is we're gonna literally do a live tour of this property. Jack, if you wanna, it's my favorite one that I've seen. This one, 140. We'll talk about it. So I'm going to turn the camera around. And if you guys have questions, I'm literally here with the source of all things Detroit. I think I forgot to mention I'm in Detroit. People are probably like, where are you?
You got some new people coming in, so it's good to repeat it.
So I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna flip the camera around. I'll let you head out. Okay.
Watch your step.
So we're in Detroit, and if you guys have this is also spontaneous and impromptu. So I gave no warning, no plans. If you happen to catch this live, great. And if not, you'll see the recording. So let's talk. So we're in Detroit. I want to hear your questions. I assume I'll be able to scroll through these. Jack's. Yeah, so property management wise, if you want to hit a little bit on what you guys have set up there. So we'll talk Detroit, whatever questions you guys have, and
we'll do a property tour really quick.
And we'll do the property tour.
So property management wise, we use a third-party property management arm that we have a really good relationship with, that we've been working with for the last few years.
And for people that are always stuck on in-house, I try and tell them all the time that in my experience, some of the turnkey companies do really good with their in-house, but for the most part, it's not the majority. You guys have had really good luck with third-party over in-house.
Well, I'll be very transparent. We used to be in-house.
Yeah.
We're not in-house no more. And there's a reason for that.
Yep.
So you guys want the best service?
Let's go back just a little bit so people can see the neighborhood.
You guys want the best service? Then that's why it's third-party right now.
Yep.
So we were in-house for many, many, many years. And then when the market shifted and it became so hard to find properties like this, I needed more of my attention on the acquisitions and the disposition side. That's when we decided to outhouse the management. Mm-hmm. And it was the greatest decision we've ever made, because we've got real experts that are in the management side of things handling that for you. And then you have us experts, the acquisitions experts, finding great deals for you like this.
That's what I try and tell people. Turnkey providers are not usually good at property management. They force it. Some of them, again, there's a couple of companies that have it, but
the ones that honestly probably complain about it is probably because they felt like there was a pass off and never heard from the turnkey provider after a sale.
Yeah.
And we don't offer that.
Yeah.
We offer a handheld service, a white glove service that, guys, this is a relationship based type of acquisition. Just like the relationship you have with Allie, just like the trust you have with Allie, is something that you're going to share with me as well. And we're a tag team, Allie and I, and you're going to be part of this relationship and part of this growth all together.
You don't just buy a house and get kicked to the curb and nobody cares what happens anymore. Nope. Not at all.
No, if you're looking to build a relationship with somebody for tens of years with a provider, and hopefully have it equate to a portfolio of tens of property, then you're on the right live stream.
It sounds like you're locking yourself into a long time retirement. All right, so we've been to 4 properties already.
4 properties.
So I'm getting I've never been to Detroit before. I'm getting a really good feel for, you know, like if Al tells me this is a B neighborhood or whatever, you know, what is C? Because it's a relative scale, right? Somebody can say anything's a B or A or whatever. Can't really see much because of the lighting. Let me show you guys.
Show them the house.
So this is the property we're gonna tour, but I also want you to see the neighboring properties. This is one of the nicest streets we've been on. They've all been pretty good. And we are mention a little bit about the big,
yes.
my favorite thing that Al's been talking about. We've gone through a couple neighborhoods where 4 or 5 years ago, you could buy houses for 120 to 150 cash flowing, and now they're priced well into the 200s and 300s.
Correct.
And a lot of those neighborhoods are only about a mile from here, which says a lot to me about it's a trickle down factor, right? Absolutely. Wow, that looks terrible, and that's like some random hen. But I'm doing a trickle down thing. Mm-hmm. And so we're really close to those Absolutely. Areas. And so this is now, you know, this house is going to be 140 and it still can cash flow, but the nicer properties used to be able to do that too. So how long until this one won't cash flow? So it's a big thing that I look for is when you're in the path of appreciation, of growth, you know, when things go from cash flowing to not, that's a really good sign.
Another positive sign is, what would this house appraise for? I know that it's asking 140, but this appraisal is roughly, I found comparables in about 160, 150 range. So there is some built-in equity into this property immediately. This is one of my favorite properties in the inventory, but we do have other properties available. But overall, we chose to do a live on this one just because it was a really good sample size of neighborhood, of renovation. So maybe why don't we go ahead and go inside, spend a few minutes just touring the property. As much as I talk about the neighborhood, I don't know how much justice live is going to do for it.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some great content that Allie's going to be releasing. She's took a ton of videos, and we hope to, you know, grow this relationship from Detroit to you buyers.
I saw Jack except I scrolled up and now I can't scroll down. Jack, I think, asked how much the neighborhood rents for. So I was going to talk about that while we walk in.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're possibility of up to 20K of equity just because of where this neighborhood is and the rent estimate. So when I send the pro forma, and the pro forma that I was sent has it estimated about $1,300, but like Al was saying earlier, there's a very good chance that this could rent for $1,400. They try to underestimate the rents because they want to leave room for, you know, if things don't go quite as planned. But keep in mind that if this rents at $1,400, that is a 1% rule property.
This will go on the market for $1,400. But in your performance, it says $1,300.
Yeah. So keep in mind, it's already good cash flow with $1,300. Yeah. So $1,400 is going to be.
But it will be on the market at $1,400.
Yeah. Sure. And while we walk in, I don't know why I can't scroll people's questions anymore. Hey, Jack, throw another question in there and see if it'll reset my chat box while we're doing this.
So living room, you can see it has beautiful hardwood floors.
These are awesome.
I don't know how good the light is coming out.
It's not bad, actually. It's a little bit dark in here, but the video is doing pretty well.
It's got the dining room crack open slide over here, Ellie.
Perfect. Oh, this is the dining room?
This is the dining room.
It's a big dining room.
Look what the dining room leads to.
This is your favorite part, isn't it?
This is one of my favorite parts of the house.
Hey, Jack, that worked. Thank you.
It's got the little Four Seasons room or
hey,
Florida room.
Wow. Obviously that paper will come down. Wow, so it's 3 sides.
Yeah.
And they all open. And I don't know if obviously you could tell that this was a brick house when we were walking in. There's also a 2-car garage. Great size yard. When we were walking in, having owned my own properties, I have a whole new respect for brick. I am so sick of fixing siding, repainting, all that. So most of the properties we've seen today are brick, which, me personally, is what I look for.
Kitchen.
This is a big kitchen.
Yeah, this is a decent sized kitchen. It's got a little sit and nook area. Vinyl plank flooring, beautiful granite countertop, complementing the awesome backsplash, stainless steel sink and faucet. It's got your, personally me, I love these cabinets. Some people are not. It's got your soft closing cabinets.
Nice.
I love that. One thing that we go for in our rental properties is we try to give the feel of a homeowner. Mm-hmm. As a tenant, sometimes you wake up and there's some things that the landlord hasn't fixed that really, tick you off. And your brain just starts like, oh, I can't wait to move out of here, or I can't wait to get into something bigger and better, or whatever the case is. We try to eliminate all of those thought process for the tenants, and we have an average, I would say we're right around 3 years of stay for each
That's awesome.
term per tenant. So we really thrive for that. And as you guys can see, when you walk through one of our properties, you're going to see why that number of 3 years is so high.
One of the things we talked about, I did videos of some other properties, but one thing we mentioned in Detroit, it is very standard that tenants travel, which I was kind of giggling earlier. Like, I'm used to tenants traveling with their own fridge, but in Detroit, it's even standard that they travel with their own stove. I was just picturing like them lugging a stove or like, so if he was saying that if a tenant does not have their own fridge or whatever, like if the landlord, quote unquote, provides the fridge, what they do is they tack on that price over a certain amount of time to the rent. Yeah. So even if you have to come out of pocket for a fridge initially, it's going to get reimbursed to you over time. So you're not paying for the appliances. And an added bonus that a lot of people don't think about with that setup is that should something go wrong with the fridge or the stove, guess who doesn't have to pay for those repairs? You. Correct. That's huge.
Correct. Let's head up upstairs. This is a colonial, so all the bedrooms are on the second floor.
Okay. Oh, this is a colonial.
Yeah, this is a colonial.
If I fall and break my ankle, it's on a live, and you guys will get a free trip to the hospital with me.
So this could be used like a little storage area, bedroom.
Is this, it's a 3-bedroom,
3-bedroom.
1.5 bath?
1.5.
Okay.
Yep.
Floors are great.
Bedroom number 2, this does have the balcony. Let me pop it open.
Ooh, big room. And an upstairs balcony. Oh, fantastic.
Beautiful day here in Detroit. For November 3rd.
We'll do the same video in February.
Beautiful day in Detroit, November 3rd, getting a nice sunny 60-degree day like this. Really, we should be golfing.
This is great.
Yeah.
So this is obviously the master.
Actually, the other bedroom's the master.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this is the bigger bedroom.
Oh, I love built-ins too. This is great.
Let's do the online debate. We're live.
Oh, we get to ask everybody their opinions.
Let's crack open this light.
All right, everyone get your thinking caps on.
Who prefers the newer modern bathroom versus the older traditional Victorian style bathroom?
I'm not going to tell you guys my answer, but you better agree with me. So the question is, we're polling the audience. Do you agree that they should have left the, what do we call this? More the vintage. Clean vintage feel. Or
the floor. Show them the floor too.
Do you think, the floor, or do you think that they should have replaced it with
your modern,
fancy, newer, modern? Jack says newer.
Okay, that's one.
So far, he's the only one that's. Who else? So we're polling the audience. If Jack's the one who wants to buy this house, ew.
Jack, you might have pulled my armor.
My answer was the vintage. I like it. I'm like, I can get modern anywhere.
Well, this has got the built-in to it too. So,
yeah.
You know, the makeup stand and all that stuff. So
kind of fits the motif.
Yeah, it does. And especially in this area, many people don't probably know, Detroit is a very historical city. Mm-hmm. You know, some of the properties that we've been looking at today, pre-World War II, has that, you know, Victorian style look to it, where all the properties down the street, like we said, are all characteristically shaped differently.
Jack makes a good point. He says, I prefer the newer for the bump in rent, possibly. That's true, because some renters may not. Yeah, that's actually a super valid point.
Well, it is a valid point to a certain extent, because also on the ownership standpoint, I can guarantee you that this probably may not attract more rent had I renovated it, because of the surrounding properties in this neighborhood probably have the same type of bathroom.
Yeah. So it's like the expectation around here.
So it's very common to see something like this. I'm going to give my vote.
What was your
I'm
vote?
going to side with Jack.
Yeah, I knew you were.
I like the newer.
You got voted out, right?
I did get voted out. I do like the newer, but it doesn't mean that I'm right or it doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's just that it makes more sense for a property that's more rich in tradition
Yeah.
in an area like this, in a neighborhood like this.
Yeah.
Probably to keep it. So I got voted out. But overall, this house, we ran the comps on it. It did have an appraisal, and like I said, this is
a fat one.
Yeah,
So we'll kind of summarize the upstairs one more time. So these are the 3 bedrooms. The one has the outdoor balcony. For anyone who's tuned in who hasn't been on here, we are doing an impromptu, spontaneous, unscheduled live because I'm in Detroit. I've got a turnkey provider right here. And I also assume that you guys have Detroit questions. So maybe while we're walking down, give us the latest on Detroit, because Detroit had some hardships, as many cities have. Where are we on the Detroit spectrum? How's the city doing? How's the industry? You know, like what's your take? You're from here. You've seen it all. Where are we at on Detroit?
The highs, the lows, I've seen it all. Overall, many people have this, stereotypical image of Detroit being some sort of war zone or ghost town. I can tell you firsthand, what you read in the news or what you watch in the media or whatnot is definitely not what you're going to see here. I encourage everybody to come out and do what Alan's doing. Come out and take a tour.
We're thinking about scheduling one for maybe as winter tapers off a little bit next year and it gets bearable, do an investor's trip. That'd be super fun.
For those of you that are going to be maybe free in the next hour or so, we are going to be going live one more time.
Oh, are we going to go live in the hood?
We're going to go live in downtown Detroit.
Heyo.
We're going to see the revitalization of downtown.
I thought we were going to go live in the hood.
We could if you want.
Because I already told him, I was like, I want to go to the hood. I want to see what all these famous $5,000 meth labs are.
I'm going to drop Allie off in the neighborhood. We'll see if I come back and pick her up.
Or if I live or not.
So no, on a serious note, everybody has that image of Detroit, and I can say that about almost every major metropolitan city in the country. But what makes Detroit so unique, like I said, is not only the big three with Ford, GM, and Chrysler, but right now Detroit ranks, I think last time I looked, like number 13 in the country for technological development jobs. So you have like they call it the Silicon Midwest, is what they call it, Silicon Valley of the Midwest.
Yeah, one of the questions is how's the job market in the area? So you're starting in on that.
It's really become a lot more diverse from what it was just being the backbone of the Motor City. So I've been seeing like bike manufacturing has come back here. Jeep just announced that they're opening up a new manufacturing plant. You got Google, Microsoft, Tesla just opened up a new office out here in Detroit.
I think Amazon, did you say that one? Yeah.
Put up, I think, like 1 million square foot. It was a huge building for their distribution warehouse here. So
We talked a lot about import-export because we're so close to the Canadian border, which I had no idea. Geography's not... Oh, we are?
Down there
Nice.
Probably in the next 45 minutes, we'll be on the border. Literally, we're going to drive right across, right near the river, the Detroit River, and you'll have a chance to see all the importing and exporting. And we're going to drive underneath the Ambassador Bridge. So you're going to see a ton of semi-trucks going back and forth.
Yeah.
So that's one of the unique things about Detroit is people that don't know is what is going on today. Everybody knows about the rich history of it, but today.
And there's a mention of it having the notion of Detroit being hood. I think that's kind of that notion got put out however many years ago, and that's the kind of like a where are we at on the hood spectrum. It's like, is it any different than any other city where everyone's got a hood?
Well, here, I'll put it this way for you. When we drive down into downtown Detroit, you're going to notice many millennials, even Gen X's that are going to be down there probably doing their afternoon jog, their afternoon walk. And who are these people? I have a friend of mine that I graduated with that I haven't seen in years. She's my age, female, and I ran into her recently and I said, hey, how's everything? What are you up to? And all that good stuff. She told me that she moved into downtown Detroit. So for me, that was like a full-blown circle. A girl out of the suburbs moving into downtown Detroit. And then as she told me that, and I kind of looked around and I started to notice, like, yeah, this is
like young single professionals.
This is happening.
Nobody's armed.
And now, back in the 1950s, what happened is they had what was called a whiteout, where everybody fled Detroit. And that actually prior to even 1950s. And we're actually seeing the opposite happen now, where people are leaving the suburbs and moving into downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
And that's where you're seeing a lot of the population growth happening, is in the downtown Detroit area.
Yeah.
Where the revitalization's happening. You have guys like Dan Gilbert that have invested over $2 billion of their own money that has gone into the heart of Detroit. They brought in the headquarters of Quicken Loans is now in downtown Detroit, as well as Microsoft recently just opened up an office in Dan Gilbert's.
How far are we from downtown right now?
Right now, if we jump in the car, I can get us there in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah, so like I think everywhere we've been today, it's 15 minutes or less from downtown.
Yeah,
and are we still in the area? What was the road coming in?
Outer Drive.
Outer Drive. So one of the questions is, how are the schools in this neighborhood? Are we in that same district?
We are in the Renaissance School District right now.
So we drove down Outer Drive, and Al was saying basically any property that comes up off Outer Drive, which is exactly where we are.
Which is the main road.
Their Renaissance High School is the number 7 high school in the entire state of Michigan. So this is actually a property in a really good school district, which is not common for turnkeys typically. Normally you're in the kind of lower end of schools, but we're in a good school district.
We're in an excellent school district, very desirable areas, not only for homeowners, but even for tenants.
Yeah.
This is a very good mix that I'm seeing a lot of growth in this area. I wish we can buy more and more in this area. A lot of questions I get is, well, where do you buy? It's a deal by deal basis. Really, the deal dictates where we buy. But there are some red zones that we stay away from, of course.
And later I'll attach a video. We were at the office earlier with a big old map of Detroit and saw some of the green areas they do buy in, some of the reds that they won't touch. And all the neighborhoods we've been in today have been B neighborhoods or nicer.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. I mean, it's all been great. And one thing that we talked about in another video is, Andrew, I just saw you got on. I've got your tax expert right here, and he says you need to do a property tax appeal. I've got info for you. What was I just talking about?
You were saying about the B neighborhood.
Oh, so we're so close to those areas, like they're getting priced out. Like I was saying before, Rosedale Park used to be able to cash flow. You could get it affordable. Now it's in the $200,000 to $300,000 range.
Yep.
And this is basically next door to that. So I would assume that at some point this is going to appreciate to the point of you can't cash flow.
Into something like this, into this neighborhood,
Yeah.
Exactly what you just said. And it's really exciting to finally see more neighborhoods starting to see that same type of growth as a Rosedale Park and as a Grandmont, and if you will, like a Bagley district.
Yeah.
Almost. So.
And since Andrew's on here, we can start walking down if you want.
Let's do it.
I'll start walking. We did so Jack's asking about property taxes. I will attach a video. We had a whole sit down earlier, and he actually even pulled up the MLS. We talked a lot about the taxes. So I will attach that video to this. The very short conclusion is that they are not really anything to be weary of, and they are mostly fine.
Let's do the basement really quick.
Oh, I forgot about the basement. And keep the questions coming. Jack, I know I didn't answer your question at all, but I'll attach that video for you so you can get all the details.
And this floor here is a boiler-based house.
It comes with a bar?
Yeah.
I've never seen a turnkey with a bar in it.
Well,
I knew I wanted this property.
This was in the basement, so we just left it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it comes with a bar top.
This is a lot of property for the money.
This is a recreational area, kind of hangout area.
And you guys always do this. I've seen this in all the properties.
We do this in all of our properties. So you'll see this is very common in all.
All right, we are live part 2. We'll see if everyone comes back. We'll give it a second. For anyone who is not on the first live, or if you haven't watched it, I just walked down into the depths of the basement and it cut my signal off, which apparently turns off a Facebook Live. So we're gonna kind of redo this live. We're giving a Detroit turnkey property tour. All right, let's see. Got a couple people. There's Jack. Sorry, Jack. I shouldn't have walked so far into the basement. I cut my thing off.
In the depths of the dungeon.
In the depths of the dungeon. So we were about to talk about CapEx. What do you guys do? What do you insure for buyers?
Sure.
And anyone who, I see some new names on here. We were just on a live and I walked too far into the basement and cut it off. So this will be live part 2. And if you missed the first part, that will be posted in the group. We're doing a property tour. I'm with the Detroit turnkey provider as we speak. So if you guys have any questions, Jack says he missed the basement.
Everybody did.
Everyone kind of, I can at least, I'm not going to walk very far in it. Did you see the bar, Jack? That was really the highlight. In case anyone missed my favorite part of this entire property, it comes with a bar. I don't know if you guys have been in real estate long, but it'll drive you to drink. Jack, yeah, we can, I don't know have we emailed before? We can definitely connect on this one. We were going to talk about CapEx. So turnkeys, obviously, people have certain CapEx expectations. What can they expect on your properties?
Yeah, overall for the properties that we are acquiring, typically they do come...
Face this way a little bit for lighting.
Yeah, typically they do...
There we go.
They will need or will come with newer HVAC units, mechanicals, electrical, plumbing, building, as well as the city. I mean, I get, of course, owners, investors asking me all these questions. The city wants the same type of quality and the same type of standard as well. Not aesthetically, but standard for city code and violation. That includes your building, your zoning, your mechanicals, your electrical, roofing, windows. All of that stuff has to pass a certain city code in order for us to rent out the property.
And in this conversation, tell everyone all the inspections. So when you buy properties here, you can feel a little extra confident because the property itself, regardless of you and your preferences about third-party property inspections, the properties in Detroit have to go through a handful of inspections. So you're getting multiple layers of assurance.
Yeah, with the new mayor that came into town years ago, one of the first things that he did is he cleaned up all the slumlords. He said no more. Every property has to go through a certification process as well as lead-based paint. So anytime you buy a property through us, it needs to be lead certified and passed inspection. And you're going to turn around and do the same thing when you take the ownership as well in your name. But it would be prepped and ready to go for you, of course. And not only do you get your third-party inspection, which is one set of eyes, you get our internal inspector. So you have our own project manager making sure that it, meets all of our standards. Then, like I said, you get your third party. Then you get your potential appraisal. So you're going to have an appraiser walk through here, making sure that it meets the condition of your lender. You're going to have also your city inspector. So you're going to have about almost 4 to 5 sets of eyes looking at this property before it even hits your portfolio. Mm-hmm.
What, this just popped in my head, related or unrelated, what's the Section 8 wise? Do you guys do a lot of Section 8? Do you recommend Section 8 versus market? Is there any preference one way or the other? Any Section 8 logistics?
Yeah, so for me, I'm a pro Section 8 type of guy. I love, if you want to call it guaranteed income or whatever you want to call it, I just want to know that I got, money hitting my bank account every single month at this date, no worries.
And Detroit's not too annoying. Some Section 8s can be incredibly annoyingly strict, but is Detroit pretty good about it?
You have a ton of different housing authorities, but overall they have about the same type of strict policies. They just want to make sure functionally that the home is up to code. There's no safety issues or hazardous issues. Windows open and close, all that good stuff that come along with it. But, I mean, I'm a Section 8 guy. I wish we did more of them. I don't think we do enough of them. In my
So you're doing both market and Section 8?
Yeah.
More market, it sounds like, even.
Yeah, it is more market. You do get more cash tenants. But like I said, if I can get a Section 8 tenant in here paying $1,400 a month, it's a no-brainer.
Ooh, great question. I can't even believe we haven't talked about this all day. What's the eviction process in Detroit? So everybody wants to know, landlord friendly, tenant friendly, because Detroit used to be tenant friendly. Yeah, and you've talked about there's been a shift in that. So what's the general, what can people expect on that side?
Now let's say you get a squatter that moves right into your property. You can get the squatter removed on site. So you don't have to go through an eviction process.
How long does that usually take?
So an on-site, like an officer will really pull into the property.
Like you can call the officer and they're here within a couple days or something? Or the same day?
No. You can call the police and they can come immediately and remove a squatter.
It can just be a cop. Cool.
Yeah. Now, there is a difference when I use the word squatter and a non-paying tenant. Okay? A non-paying tenant will have to be something that's gone through civilly. And, a court process can take up to about 60 days for removal.
So that's...
And we have all of this stuff in place. Depending, of course, on scheduling of the court dates and things of that nature. But we just left the property that had a non-paying tenant that was removed.
Via some other owner, not them.
Yeah,
they actually got the property cheaper because of the non-paying tenant that was in there. The owner wanted to get rid of it.
That's right.
What's the eviction wise? What's the typical cost associated with it? Like, what's a general expectation? If you have to evict, what's your hardship?
I mean, I paid recently about $1,000.
Okay.
That included dumpster. No, I'm sorry. It was $1,500. I apologize. I remember we gave the bailiff also a few bucks too. So roughly it could cost anywhere between let's be say $1,500 to $2,000, depending on what you're dealing with the timeline, depending on how many court dates you have, how much the attorney is working on your file, the bailiff. Now, could it be cheaper? Absolutely, because there's a lot of times that when you're serving court paperwork to a tenant, it's an awesome scare tactic to get them out, prior to even getting to a judge. And if it does have to get to a judgment where you need to writ, then at that time, that's when you can expect some sort of.
So really, there's no major complication. Like, would you consider Detroit landlord friendly?
Personally, I'm going to say that shift a couple of years ago with the mayor has made that.
So the mayor has made like actual law changes to shift it from tenant to landlord friendly.
You can get somebody out now a lot quicker than what you were able prior to.
Okay, so it was definitely tenant friendly back in the day.
Back in the day, it was more tenant friendly because the homeless was a lot greater too. So now I feel like they've done a really good job getting all that clean.
Yeah. For you guys tuning in, we'll probably be wrapping this up soon. This is part 2 of Alive because I walked too far into the basement. And Jack, I saw your question. Yeah, that was a bathroom down there. I saw it right. Yes, a half bath in the basement. I saw it right as my broadcast was cutting out.
It's perfect for your bar area. So all your guests.
How's that, Jack? Is that better? My finger was on the mic. This is why I'm not good at videos.
Hey, this is the first time.
Yeah, first on like spontaneous live ever, and first time ever with my phone, actually.
This was planned, and you guys are getting this as raw as we are.
So we are running around seeing lots of properties today. If you have any questions about Detroit as a market, about this turnkey provider, things they offer, about this property, which is really stinking cute, any of their properties, any questions you have, pop them in now and we'll answer them. And if not, whatever questions you have after the fact, you can leave them as a comment. I'll make sure to get them answered. I've got the expert at our disposal right now.
Sure.
So
we're going to be together for the rest of the day, guys. So whatever you come across, whatever questions you may have, please ask them away. I'm going to go back to what we said earlier on live number 1. This is a growth relationship for all of us together.
Yeah. They're really focused on long-term relationships, which I love. When you buy a property from them, they're not going to just leave you hanging in the wind. They're going to stay involved. If there's ever a problem, like, let's all talk about it.
Sure.
And then if you guys come up with questions, you can either Facebook direct message me, or you can always email me, Ali, A-L-I, @hipsterinvestments.com. And I'll be with Al until tonight. I fly back to California tonight. So you have him for immediate responses for the rest of the day, and then always follow up. We can always set up a Zoom call all together and show you more properties. If you had so much fun on this live and you want more, we'll be seeing more properties. So if you guys are digging this live property tour, we won't spend as much time because I actually have to get to the airport tonight. But yeah, like, let me know what you guys like, what you want, what your questions are, how we can help you. And yeah, I think that's it.
Detroit, if people want to see what's going on in downtown Detroit,
we'll hop on for a minute.
I will walk a couple streets.
Yeah.
Put you guys live if you guys want to see some stuff.
Cool.
Like that.
Yeah, throw things in the comments, email me, direct message me, whatever. All right, we'll give you about 30 seconds for any last questions as we start to head out of here. Did we? Oh, I saw the backyard from there. I think we saw. Jack says, yes, we do want a lot more live content.
Sure.
I'll give you guys an extra minute and a half for questions, and we'll go actually to the backyard. Just kind of if you weren't on the first video, this neighborhood is phenomenal. I personally am obsessed with brick because, hey, you got a compliment. You're a stand-up guy, or you seem like a stand-up guy. I mean, we'll put you to the test later, but.
We'll put the proof in the pudding.
Yeah, what I like about Al too is he doesn't fluff things. It's just like hey, here it is. Like, here's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I really appreciate that because when people say only the good, I'm like, all right. Even the roof
have to be tempered, I mean, you just got to be realistic.
Yeah.
Things do happen in real estate investing, and that's when that makes the difference with the property team you work with.
Yeah.
It really, really is, because things will happen, things will come up.
Yeah.
And when you contact me, that's when true colors are shown for both sides.
Yeah. The garage is in great
It's got a
shape.
new roof. It's got, you know, whole 9 yards.
I mean, look at this thing, people. This is $140,000. I mean, that's amazing. I'm like, shoot, I need to move in here. So here's the 2-car garage. Some random support beam design. Yeah, I mean, this thing is awesome. Which neighborhood is this? Or what do we call this?
So
we're off of.
We're on the northwest side. This is
I'm
in
gonna
the Schulze neighborhood. Remember I sent you
Schulze neighborhood.
Remember I sent
Okay.
you a little brief about the Schulze neighborhood?
Yeah.
This is one of the more up and coming neighborhoods.
And this is a big one. Big thing is the good school districts. The high school is number 7 in the entire state.
Yeah, and it's got other educational institutes that are near here.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Marygrove College. It's got UFD, University of Detroit Mercy College.
Mm-hmm.
It has UFD, University of Detroit Jesuit High School nearby, and these are all highly touted educational institutes in this area.
Cool. See, who would have thought we'd have to come to Detroit to get good school districts I mean, come on, people. Stop listening to what's in the news. We'll start wrapping this up, but I'll at least keep the camera rolling to get back. So if you're just tuning in, make sure you watch part 1 before I lost my signal in the basement and we had to now film number 2. But to give you an idea of the quality of the street, market rent for this one is going to get listed at $1,400. The pro forma says $1,300. They like to under promise and try to over deliver, so that way it gives a little margin. As far as closing with tenants, we talked a little bit about this earlier. Back in the day, kind of when everything was a feeding frenzy, you were closing vacant. Now, if you want to close with tenants, they can more or less make that happen.
Yeah, back in the day, it was a lot tougher. A lot more contracts were going out a lot sooner prior to even renovations being started. It was more of a frenzy back then.
Yeah. How far is the closest Walmart?
Here, I'd say 8 minutes.
It came in. The question came in.
8 minutes, right off of Southfield Road.
Yeah, easy peasy. So here's is this, would you call this B to B plus?
This is your B.
This is
B.
This is amazing B. I like it. And one last look at the front of the house. So this one, we're seeing 7 properties today. I just want to do a live at one of them. So all the properties we've seen have been pretty comparable to this. So reach out, leave comments, direct message. We might pop on a live later, and we'll see you guys then.
Yeah.